Hey guys, Jim and Pokemon here. I'm recording part 1 of the Wizards of the Coast Black Star promo set. I figured in the beginning here I would just show you guys a list of all the cards and where they came from, where they could have been obtained. So in case you guys just want to pause this, I did get it from Bubblepedia down here. Just made it kind of easy. But I figure a lot of people will be curious where these cards were originally released, how they were obtained. So nice little quick reference for you guys here in the video. So without further ado, we're going to start the Black Star promo set. You have the Eevee Pikachu up first, the League promo. Number 1 Pikachu here. This did have the error version that could have been pulled out of a first edition Jungle Pack, which had the stamp over here on the left. It's a pretty cool error. I think there are only 6 in PSA 10 when I'm recording this. My highest grade is a 9. I'll probably make a video of that in an error card video. Still pretty cool looking Pikachu there at PSA 10. This was hard to find for a while. I think I ended up picking this up for me like $60 or so. And then more and more started showing up. And that's one thing you got to be careful of with the promos is there sometimes are a ton of copies still available. This is a different version. It's called the Gray Star version. You can see the difference in the stamps right there. This is actually supposed to be gray. It was made in the Core comics over in Japan. And so I think the cardstock in this is slightly different. Kind of hard to tell in the video here. This isn't 4K, so you should be able to up your quality a bit to see things a little bit better. But still, a variant I thought was pretty cool to chase. There are 2 Gray Star variants, Pikachu and Jigglypuff. Don't have the Jigglypuff yet, so maybe we'll complete it at some point. Next up, we have the movie promos. There are 4 of them. So if you guys remember going to see the Pokemon movie way back in 1999, you got a sealed plastic pack of 4, and you got one of these cards at random. So many people probably have this. If you went with your friends, you probably got all 4 of them. They were pretty cool to collect. These cards right now are probably about $20 or so, maybe a little bit more, but there's so many of them. There's so many of them graded that it's pretty much just the cost of grading plus a slight premium. There is an error version of these where the WB stamp, instead of being up here, it is down here in the bottom left. That's a pretty rare variant, pretty hard to come by. They're demanding quite a premium right now. I'll talk about that more in a separate video, but really cool kind of subset of those cards. For the movie promos, here's another Pokemon League card. You can tell this is an Arcanine. This one took me forever to find. At the time, it was one of the lowest pop. Now the pop has gone up quite a bit. You can see this card is kind of a weak 10 in my opinion. The centering's a little off. But if you look at the back here, the back's pretty strong. No edge wear, no whiting or cornix, but the centering's a little off on this one. So right to left, it's not the best, but still, doesn't Wizards of the Coast do Arcanine just perfect every time? Isn't it always like the head's on the left, the body's on the right, and it's always in attack mode? Yeah, I'm a huge fan of just how cool Arcanine looks all the time, like a little puppy, like fighting for a ball or something. Next up, you have the Jigglypuff. This does have the Gray Star variant as well, and I think this came from the first movie soundtrack. That's what my notes say. So I don't have the Gray Star yet. It's kind of hard to find, actually. You'd be surprised how much they go for. But still, another cool addition there. Number 7, the Black Star set. This set actually took a while to complete, believe it or not. Here we go. We have the Pokemon League, the non-holo Mew. And so you'll notice there are a few different versions of Mew out there. And I think this one came from Pokemon League January 2000. But it's kind of hard to see, but if you look, it is just non-holo, not glossy at all. And the reason I say that is because there is a different version out there. Now, realize this version on the left is non-holo as well. It's a PSA 9. This is considered the Gata Mew. It's a Japanese cardstock. I think the backs are still English. It's Japanese cardstock. But if you look closely, I know they got the lights here, but you can see it's kind of glossy. Like, see it's over here in the light, it's kind of glossy. Whereas this one, it's non-holo. So 2 totally different variants. The big difference here is this one on the right's about $25. If this one on the left was a 10, it'd be well over. It'd be $500 at least 500. And so huge price difference. This one on the left, you peeled it off of a Japanese sheet, just one of the ones you just peel off. This one was thousands and thousands are made and distributed, much different. So still looking for a 10 with this, and I think with the Jigglypuff, Gray Star, and these are the only 2 variants, I guess you'd say, I don't have in a 10. Moving on, you have the holo version, which is much more appealing, looks so much cooler. It has the Cosmos holofoil. You can see it was in the year 2000, so that was right around when base set 2 was cranking up that Cosmos holofoil along with Team Rocket and the rest of the sets. But the holo pattern just makes this card look so much better. I mean, just the difference on that card it's just incredible. And then this one came Pokemon League April 2000. So you come back a few months later and you get a better version of the card. That's cool. A fan favorite here, you got Meowth. It came from the Game Boy. And you can see it has a little GB down here in the bottom right. And this is the Pokemon trading card game. That's I think the name of at least that's what the notes say here. Pretty cool. Some of these holos are just really, really hard to find there for the longest time. It just seemed like the pop was low, and then the pop has gone up a little bit, but some of these, it just seems like they were very, very elusive. Now, there is another variation of this card. It is the non-holo JR Rally Stamp. And so, again, another case where this card is made on Japanese cardstock, came from Japan. You can see it still has a little Game Boy stamp here on the bottom right. And of the 3 JR Rally cards that are out there, this is the hardest one to acquire. I believe fair market value for this card today is about $350, the one on the left here. Not so sure about the one on the right, but let's just see the back here on it. Again, it's hard to tell in a video, the card stock, the card quality, but it is different than the English on the right. Again, you can see much more in the background with the JR Rally stamp. It's cool they actually labeled it too. We'll talk about that in a second. Next up, we have Eevee, the holo version, which is just gorgeous. And one thing it took me forever to notice with this card, you have the blue in the bottom, you have the yellow and the red. So it's like the 3 evolutions all kind of blend together. I never actually noticed that for the longest time. I was just like, oh, kind of a colorful Eevee. And I was like, oh, it's the evolutions. That's what it is. And this is another one of those that, yes, indeed, there is a JR Rally version where it's a non-holo as well. So same case as the Meowth. Pretty cool indeed. And what's weird is I know the holo is cool, but that's the one I've always looked at. It's the one I've always remembered. But when I look at the non-holo, to me, it just stands out because I never really saw this one. And with the non-holo, you can see the Flareon waves, you can see the Vaporeon bubbles, and the Jolteon lightning strikes, which is, the best one, of course, but it's so much better. I think, if they came out at the same time, I'd be like, yeah, holo for sure. But just since I feel like a lot of people don't see this one all the time, the non-holo is appreciated. I think the non-holo is around $125 approximately, but you can still find these loose in their JR Rally little packets for $65. So if you buy it, you grade it, you can probably get it for less than that price, the $100 price. Next up, this one is kind of hard to tell. It's also one of the cooler Black Star promos, in my opinion, simply because this was the only promo used for the Legendary Collection set, which is one of my challenging sets I chased after for a while. This also has a JR Rally stamp. It is incredibly, incredibly hard to tell the differences between the two. The biggest difference again is in the card stock. But what we did, the guy I bought it from actually added this stamp up here himself. This is on top of the PSA case. He did that so he would know which one was JR Rally because the difference is so minuscule that PSA does not recognize the difference between the two. So even though these are very, very similar, there's really not much of a difference between them. Wouldn't it have been cool if this one on the right here was a holofoil? That would have been pretty sick. But again, you have the Legendary Collection version that's non-holo that just has the little medallion here in the bottom right showing that it's from the Legendary Collection. Again, that's a cool Mewtwo. Sorry, I got to remember I'm doing a video. I got to keep on moving. All right, last card in this video, one of the biggest cards, one of the most challenging cards, the most expensive card in this set. You have the Venusaur, the number 13 Venusaur. This takes from that Japanese CD promo artwork of it being in the bottom right, kind of looking up. Definitely the hardest card to grade in the whole set. The last one of these I think sold for around $1,200 or $1,300 from a card website off of eBay. I know a lot of people ask me about this. Incredibly, incredibly challenging to find. Most people get 9s, but it's one of the hardest cards to grade. Beautiful, beautiful Venusaur. That's it. Hey guys, Jim and Pokemon here, bringing you part 2 of the Wizards of the Coast Black Star promo set. So we ended with Venusaur right here, and we're going to keep on going down the list. Again, just quick reference for you guys. I did get this from Bulbapedia online. Got the Venusaur in the background there for you. So you just remember how beautiful this card is and how elusive that card is for those of you that are chasing this set. Next card up, we have the Black Star promo Mewtwo number 14. I believe it or not, this card was, at the time, was actually harder to find than the other Mewtwo. And this one kind of reminds you of the movie quite a bit. Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, this one actually priced much higher than the other one. Even though the other one has cooler artwork, I'd like the other one much better. That doesn't always dictate pricing. So this one did cost me, I think, almost double the price of the other one when it was out. The price might have gone down in this one since, but it was one of those you just didn't find all the time. The cool Porygon, one of the holos from the set. I think there's only maybe 6 or 7 holos in the whole set, and there's a couple reverse holos, so it is kind of peculiar that you don't find that many holos, whereas today, a lot of the cards that are promos end up being holos or EXs or full arts, or they just seem like they go with the higher rarity. So cool Porygon there. That cool looking background. I don't know, man. When you look at a bunch of non-holo cards and you see a holo, it just sticks out so much more. That's cool. Then you have Computer Error coming up next. And this, I may get this wrong here, but I know you have the Japanese Kamex card. I don't know if that links. I should probably look that up for a talk about it. But you basically have a trophy card or prize participation card from Japan that's worth quite a bit. That I think this mimics some. Let me double check that before I commit to that. But anyway, just want you guys to see this card as well. Number 16 in the set. Here we go. Dark Persian. Every time I sold this card on eBay, I'd always get flagged because apparently these two words together like trigger something online. It will always like flag the purchase for review. But that's a cool looking card. This does have the error version. I do have the, at least at the time of recording this video, the only PSA 10 out there where the 68 HP is missing. And I'll put that in a separate error card video that kind of talks to you guys. But again, another holo from the set, kind of that dark background. And surprisingly, I don't see this card pop up in 10 as much as I thought I would. That's cool. Then you got the Team Rocket's Meowth. I wonder where he's at in this artwork. It's like a supernova in the background. I don't know. There you go. Probably one of the least expensive cards in this set, Sabrina Zabra. Generally a card you can pick up for $30 or less, $25 if you find it at auction. It's one of those cards that it's just been easier to come by. And really with these cards, when you collect them, it's just finding someone that has a bunch of them, he grades them, and then kind of raises the supply for the rest of us collecting it. Probably one of the first cards I picked up from the set. It was just more available. This is a similar card. It's easier to find. It's more available. Price is above the Abra. I think this one might be in the $40 to $45 range, but still, you have the Psyduck. I always want to say Misty Psyduck. So confused. Not that you needed the question mark to know it was confused, but yeah, just remember that from the TV show. Oh, here we go. Here's some cool ones. So we have some more movie promos. And with this, there are actually 2 versions of this card. Can you tell the difference between the two? Pause the video, see if you can figure it out if you don't know it already. 1, 2. All right, I'm going to tell you. It's way too hard to find. In the bottom right here, you can see the illustrator. So they actually put the wrong illustrator. This guy right here is the incorrect illustrator. And I'm pretty sure the guy on the left here is the correct illustrator. I don't know if that's a guy or a girl. But in the US release, they had the incorrect version. And then the correct version was sent out in the UK release, the European release. And so it applies for all 3 versions of the birds. You have Moltres, Articuno, Zapdos. And I'll show you those here shortly. So if you want to get the master set, you got to pick up both versions of the illustrator. And that's kind of cool. It's probably one of the 3D artworks done right. Probably one of the better CGI ones I like. Straight from the movie. So here are the Articunos up next. Again, you can see in the bottom right, the illustrator, the incorrect and the corrected version. It's cool. and Zapdos. These are some of the mass-produced cards that there are just so many of them out there. Look, you got the red from Moltres and the blue from Articuno out there. That these cards do price fairly inexpensively. I could see these going for the $30 range or less, just because there's so many of them out there. Here we go. Here we go. Birthday Pikachu. This is a huge fan favorite when it came out. People love this card. If you got this card when you were a kid, you probably remember you could write your name on the card and Pikachu. Hopefully you didn't. Hopefully you didn't write on the card and damage it. I don't think anybody would think of doing that today, but that's one of the favorites. I know in Japan this card was one of those that just shot off. It was super expensive. Everyone was chasing it, and yeah, I'll leave this story there. There's more to this story, but I'll let other people tell it. That's cool. Birthday Pikachu. And then this is where Wizards sort of did it right, with releasing these. They just went straight Pikachus with the promos. You got Flying Pikachu. You have the Snap Pikachu, which for a while was tough to find, but then more and more have come up recently for grading. And they just did a string of Pikachus here in a row, which I'm pretty sure a ton of people appreciated. So Flying Pikachu with all the balloons. Kind of like birthday, I guess. I don't know. I think when you have a birthday, it's like balloons. And Snap, of course, is from the video game, the Pokemon Snap video game. And this did have the Japanese release that, is only 20 of them were made. One of the most elusive cards ever produced. Probably the most desirable Pikachu out there. Well, I guess the Illustrator would be the most desirable. So, but Snap is still like top 5, top 3 when it comes to the Japanese release. So it's cool they gave us an English release that we could actually afford. And you can probably pick this card up today loose for probably less than $10, probably maybe less than $5 if you're lucky. But the PSA 10 for this is going to be over 50, maybe somewhere between like 50 and 70 for a PSA 10. Next up, we have, I guess this one's just called Pikachu Promo. I don't know if there's anything specific. Came out with a Power of One VHS and DVD, so I don't know. I think I'm trying to think of a name for this Pikachu. I don't know if I've actually heard a name for it. But again, another Pikachu promo. And then I think up next we got the Cerf and Pikachu. So it's just Pikachu after Pikachu. And if anybody opened up Evolutions recently, you would have pulled this. It's one of the secret rares in the set, the Evolution set that came out in, I think, November of 2016. Yeah, I think that's right. So it's kind of cool. This is one of the reprinted cards. The Cerf and Pikachu. And this was given out Pokemon League in August of 2001. Next up, we have Pika Blue, or what later became known as Smeargle. I think, wasn't it that this card could have been one of the popular Pokemon or one of the faces? Or that might have been Jigglypuff or Clefairy. I have to think about that. But again, a really popular card because no one knew what it was called until they actually gave it a name. It was the Pika Blue. Then you have a fan favorite, Togepi. Missy's Togepi. I think this one is also fairly inexpensive when you're going to buy it. It does get a little premium because Togepi, and there's a little bit more demand with that. But it is one that does come up more often. Then you have, along the kind of baby Pokemon line, you have the Cleffa. Not that Togepi's a baby, but at the same time, Cleffa. The stars are like, I don't know what that is in the background. All right, then you have Smeargle. This was one of the harder Neo Discovery holos to grade. If you're going for that Neo Discovery set, it was brutal in first edition and unlimited. But it's nice to see the variation with the promos. I wish that the promos were like kind of unique artwork. They weren't just like reprints from sets. I feel like sometimes that occurred. One of the first reverse holos. Actually, this is the first reverse holo in the Black Star promo set. Inte. I think that's right. And then right after that, you had Pichu. There you go. Kind of cool. Playing off that reverse holo. The Best of Game series really took that under its wing with a lot of the holos being reverses. So that was kind of cool. Pichu and Best of Game. There are a lot of these out there, so you should be able to find these like $30 or less in a PSA 10 for both of these. And then the last card in this video, we're going to do Igglybuff. There you go. This Black Star promo, kind of talking to each other. Or I guess singing, I don't know. Kind of cool. But thank you guys so much for watching part 2 of the Black Star promo set. I'll get part 3 together here pretty soon. Hey guys, Jimmy Pokemon here, bringing me the final part of the Black Star promo set. So we've got 2 more at the bottom here to go. And then we also have some of the harder ones left to kind of talk about here in this final part of the Black Star promo set. So we're going to get started with Unknown J, number 38. And then you have Hitmontop. This is actually, I think, one of the last 2 or 3 cards I needed. It just never came up in a 10, and I actually graded it myself. I found a guy who had a few. Pretty much bought like maybe 10 of them from him, and then I got a few 10s when I sent it off. So what you'll find is if you can get the cards loose, you got a pretty good shot. And then Miss Drivas. Oh gosh, the horrors from Neo Revelation. When I got this card done in the 10, I was just like, let's be done. Let's be done. Don't even want to deal with it anymore because Neo Rev was so tough. Then you have Pokemon Center. I think it's pretty. This card usually holds its value pretty well. I think it's over $50 at least. And then one of the more popular cards here is going to be Lucky Stadium. This is a huge fan favorite. I think it's because you have the Charizard sort of flying in the background there with the Pikachu and the Pichu sitting on top. This always has held its value for a while. It's gone up and down in price just a little bit, but it's always a pretty pricey card. You'll never see this around the $30 price point. It's been pretty consistent as well. And then kind of a lesser known is going to be the Pokemon Tower, number 42. Yeah, Machamp, one of the harder ones to grade in my opinion. Kind of a weird looking Machamp artwork. It's the Masaki artwork, if any of you guys are familiar with the Masaki set from that pretty tough Japanese promo set that's out there. Non-holo. Also in the web set, the WEB set. EB, there you go. WEB. Magmar, this is the second to last card that I needed along with the Hitmontop. Ended up having to grade it myself, sent off like maybe 15 copies. And I got more 9s than I did 10s, so it still didn't grade well even when I looked over the cards first. You have Scyther. This is probably in the last, I'd say, third of the cards I graded. It seemed like all the ones from like 40 all the way up to 50 were just kind of tough to grade in general. But Scyther, looking for him in the forest or whatever that place was in the game. It was like where you had to go and you had to pay Safari Zone. That's it, yeah. And kind of a cool one. Electabuzz in the computer room, about to do some damage. The same place you got Zapdos in the game. That's cool. Again, kind of a pricey card, tough to find. Another fan favorite I'd say is Lily Pad Mew. Pretty cool. It did get a reprint in the recent Evolution set that came out in 2016. I think this is also one of the McDonald's one that was going for like $800 at one point. But this card is still a pretty pricey card. I'd say above $70 for this card specifically. I know a lot more people have been asking about price, so I'm trying to include it. Just hope it's still accurate by the time you see this video. Articuno, another pretty tough card. I'd say this card price is pretty high. I'd say above 70. One of the harder cards to get as well. Also one of the more beautiful and just elegant cards. He's up on top of the mountain, just looking out there. It was Snorlax. Kind of looks like the Team Rocket or like the Z's. I always like think of this as like more of a Team Rocket type of Snorlax. Chilling with the little eevee there. That's cool. He's out. He's always out. His belly doesn't look as big. And then here, the final little stint here, you have the Space Time Celebi. This was in that P promo set from Japanese. It's kind of cool. Pokemon Forever. And then you have the Rapidash. You do have the 2 variations. You got the one on the right, which is actually harder to find. You have the New York Pokemon Center one on the left here with the New York stamp. Pretty close. And the Holo has the same thing going on here, where the one on the left has that New York Pokemon Center stamp. It's actually, there was a guy that had a ton of them. He graded a bunch of them, so it's actually much easier to find this one. But the one on the right there for a while was tough to find. Now I think you can find it more and more so, but the only difference is that stamp. It's cool. And the last card in this set is going to be the Suicune. So Pokemon Forever like the Celebi. All right,